As many as 3,000 children are in foster care in Alaska on any given day, spread across some 1,300 licensed foster homes.
As Channel 2's investigative reporter Joe Burke reports tonight, the workload for frontline workers can be overwhelming.
Mike and Rebecca, understaffing, high caseloads, they all put a strain on a job that's already emotionally difficult. And while no one wants kids to fall through the cracks, you'll see tonight it does happen.
A home with a view, chalk drawings on the driveway.
Her safety is my highest priority as a mom.
Is Lisa Reisner's sanctuary after what she's lived through.
I was very lucky to get out the way that I did.
This mom of two is giving her children a safe, loving home, something she always wanted but didn't get.
After my adoptive father passed away, it got worse. I got pulled out of school. I got pulled into homeschool, and then it became 24/7 all the time, just the abuse.
She was just 4 years old the first time her real-life monster cornered her at night. For 12 years, she suffered sexual and physical abuse at the hands of Roland Allison Jr., a troubled, violent young adult. Roland, the youngest son of her foster parents, who were entrusted to keep her safe.
He gets arrested, and you're in court. There's a court case.
Yeah.
You run into an OCS worker who tells you what?
So she told me that she told my adoptive mother that if she was to have us kids, that he was not to be around.
It was stunning information. It meant all along someone knew.
I felt really, really numb. Like, I looked at her and I'm just thinking to myself, like, what did you just say to me?
Kids are often left in these situations where they're known to be in danger and known to be suffering ongoing abuse.
Mike Kramer helped Reisner sue the Office of Children's Services and won. He says many foster children never get a chance at justice.
They know something bad happened to them in foster care, but they don't associate that with, I had a social worker whose job it was to protect me from that sort of thing and to investigate that home properly.
I just stood in the hallway and I was like, I can't do this. It's hard. It's really hard.
Seeing kids hurt, that's the absolutely worst part of the job.
Child protection workers have tough jobs. In Alaska, there just aren't enough of them to go around.
So last year, the turnover rate was approximately a little over 50% of our frontline caseworkers. And in some offices, particularly in some rural areas, we have as much as 80 to 100% turnover rate.
Places like Bethel, Dillingham, and Nome, forcing children's services staff to choose which cases are considered priority.
We just really see the whole system kind of balloon with, all of our attention having to be on the front end to just ensure basic safety of children.
That high volume of serious caseloads comes with an intense emotional toll and a far-reaching ripple effect.
And then, cases where kids are already in the system, those tend to possibly languish longer than we would like.
Depending on the severity of a situation, OCS's policy requires families with reports of harm to receive a face-to-face visit within 24 or 72 hours or 1 week. Director Norberg told KTUU some offices only hit that target in about 3 out of every 10 cases. The statewide average is 5 in 10. This, as the state in 2018 received the highest amount of calls yet, more than 23,000 reports of harm to its child protection hotline.
People are, concerned about our kids, and we're a very taxed agency, but we're just, we're doing the best that we can.
But this attorney...
You can't give a kid his childhood back or her childhood back, or their innocence.
And this survivor...
It really can tear down a child, and it can tear down their whole life.
Believe more can and must be done.
We hope to, continue to hold OCS responsible for their failings until, they're able to make the systemic changes where, these things just don't happen anymore.
Because Alaska's most vulnerable children deserve nothing less.
I want to be loved, I want to be accepted, but at the same time, I am telling you something's happened. Investigate that. That's really all. I mean, if they would just done that, they could have saved me 12 plus years of abuse.
Now, OCS has added more positions and is working on recruitment and training, but they admit there's still a long way to go.
Fixing a broken system with empathy.
Channel 2's investigative reporter Jill Burke shows us now how wellness for workers became a strategy to help child protection staff do a better job helping troubled families. Jill?
Mike and Rebecca, seeing trauma and heartache day in and day out requires a rock-steady sense of duty and care. It's even harder when workplace culture adds to the stress.
When it comes to child protection work, there are no simple fixes when things break down.
We're humans dealing with humans, trying to help humans that in some of their worst times of life.
As chair of the Citizens Review Panel, a group that has oversight of, but no enforcement over, the Office of Children's Services, JP Boulette has an idea about how to boost morale and build a staff that stays.
And view them more as a dysfunctional family and trauma, and acknowledge that what they do every day is they serve families that are traumatized. And there's a lot of secondary trauma that happens, and that happens with the caseworkers, and that happens all the way up the chain.
Burnout, bad experiences, policies and procedures can only do so much to insulate a workforce from what the job brings.
One of the number one reasons we hear from staff for reasons why they leave is they didn't feel like they got the support from their supervisor, or their supervisor just, literally wasn't available, because sometimes supervisors have to carry cases. Or they just didn't get the guidance that they needed.
That's contributed to vacancies statewide. For example, in Nome, there is only one staff member who carries a caseload. The director of OCS says there should be 6. By next week, Dillingham won't have any. And in Bethel, only half of the case-carrying positions, 10 out of 20, are filled.
For workers.
In presentations this spring to the legislature, Willett emphasized why workplace wellness must be a top priority.
So the people who have some of the hardest jobs and thankless jobs in the state, there's no sense of self-care, there's no sense of helping each other out, or just that awareness that we have a hard job and it's killing us.
Solving that disconnect has become a retention strategy.
They are assigned to a mentor who goes out and field shadows them, and then also works with their direct supervisor in making sure that they have an individualized training plan.
Some OCS offices are coupling the mentoring with showing workers how to use their health benefits, things like counseling and massages. And Willett says it's working.
You have to let people know that they're cared for and that they'll be protected. And so wellness.
Now, OCS is really focused on that first year of hire. Often staff leave after just 18 months, and OCS would like to change that. They're reworking how they help staff after really difficult cases. Other incentives include flexible work schedules and locations.